In 1909, the Oklahoma State Reformatory was built in Granite. Since then, they've housed all types of inmates, including the worst of the worst. The outside of the building looks extremely intimidating, but just behind the walls on the other side, you'll find the exact opposite, a constantly changing group of inmates simply trying to find a way back to society. For decades, the inmates lived in cells similar to something you'd see right out of a movie like Shawshank Redemption.
This was a medium security, so it was life all the way down to, minor property crimes all the way to murders.
The OSR has held just about every type of inmate.
Forever and ever, we were the place where you stayed until you died.
In the early 2000s, it was a maximum security prison, creating a reputation for somewhere an inmate really did not want to be.
We were running 3 to 5 serious incidents a week here with our facility, but they were running 0 all over the rest of the state because people didn't want to make a mistake and end up at OSR.
Now, it couldn't be further from that, serving as a community facility for inmates ready to go home.
Imagine you're doing a life without, as opposed to, I've got 1,000 days. So what the inmate has to lose, that light at the end of the tunnel is there now. It wasn't there when we were medium.
But that does not mean Granite doesn't have problems.
Inmate's an inmate's an inmate. We do drugs here, we do assaults here, we do everything else. But the level of violence and the type of violence changes because they don't want to get more time. They don't want to get stuck here. They don't want to end up going backwards. We're the door out. That's what we do. We discharge inmates, and we're very good at it.
They do that by teaching the inmates how to be productive members of society in a much different way than you might expect just by looking at the prison.
All they see is what you see out in front, right? And the cell houses we walked in. But what they don't realize is some of the newest buildings in DOC are right here.
Those buildings offer an experience similar to what you find outside of prison.
Everything that happens in the town of Granite happens inside these walls, on these grounds, in this 40 acres. We have heat, we have electricity, water, gas, sewers, all of the utilities, roads, maintenance, medical, dental, psych, school, programming, jobs, you name it. If it happens in a community, it happens here.
Inmates have the freedom to use every one of those services on the inside.
The only time the inmates have to be in their cells is for counts. From 6 a.m. until 9 p.m., they have free run of the whole compound except for count times. And from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m., they have free run of the unit yard except for count times. As far as locking down, there is no lockdown. This is just like a college dormitory.
That freedom comes at a cost.
With freedom comes responsibility. You have to live up to that responsibility. So these inmates learn to be responsible for themselves.
Including attending programs offered by OSR.
From anger issues to the substance abuse issues to the, cognitive behavior, changing the way they're thinking. Every little bit of that, plays into substance abuse. And then you have parenting classes here. Most of these guys have kids. Families, marriage prep.
For some inmates, their biggest responsibility is getting a diploma from the prison school known as Lakeside High School.
You know as well as I do that there's very few jobs anymore that you can get without a high school diploma. So it's very important for them to try to acquire it while they're here, because once they leave here, the probability of going back to school or going to a program to help them is very low.
Not every inmate needs schooling or substance abuse treatment. So instead, they learn a skill like welding or carpentry.
My program basically prepares students to go to work in a warehouse or a distribution center. Teach forklift training. We do lots of training for office technology that's used in that, warehouse management systems, Word, Excel. They do live inventory work. They learn how to run basic warehouse equipment such as shrink wrappers, pallet jacks.
We want them to go back out and be successful. And so everything we do here has a purpose. It's to get them back out there and get them ready for society.
They rehabilitate thousands of inmates every year.
Last year we had 3,600 inmates who came through these walls. The majority of them discharged. But about 400 decided they would rather be convicts for life, criminals for life, gangster for life, right? So they end up in our TDU and we ship them. But 3,200 of them did right.
TDU is the Transit Detention Unit. where you are put if you get in trouble at OSR.
I put you in there and I have 2 weeks to investigate. If the investigation goes good, you come back out and you get another chance. If it goes bad, you have to transfer and you have to go to higher security. There's no other out.
The choice to do right falls solely on the inmates. No more second chances.
You had your chance and you blew it. So we're going to give your bed to somebody that wants to use that opportunity.
Here in Granite, it is a revolving door of inmates. Every single person on the inside hopes that one day they'll get to walk out this door and down these stairs back into society. But just as soon as they get out, there is another group of inmates waiting to take their place. The staff welcomes the challenge that constant turnover brings and adds that any inmate who truly wants to be successful has a place here. Reporting in Granite, Will Hutchison, 7 News.